The blackpilling occurring in this community is concerning. I've recently been seeing a lot of talks and threats of suicide in this community and just giving up. We've all this pattern of talk before, usually from right-leaning extremist communities. This sort of blackpill talk is how communities, usually seen as extreme, start to get pushed into even more extreme, intolerant, and violent discussions. We should nip this in the bud and make a rule against blackpilling far before it's too late in this community. We don't want to get into a space where we give up the will to fight and turn on each other. I understand that things are dire out there, but blackpilling does not help in any way and only makes things worse for everybody. Edit. I appreciate the comments. A few things I should point out. I am absolutely not saying we should stop complaining. I'm saying we should lock or prohibit talks of suicide, talks of violence, blackpilling, and doomposting. They're counterproductive and push communities to extremes. Somebody pointed out that I was using the word blackpill wrong. I went by the definition as defined here. Some that are disagreeing with me here are perfectly demonstrating the vitriol that this community should not support. Seasonal depression mixed with financial strain post-Xmas would make it worse. This sub could be really constructive if posts would focus on actual labor issues like minimum wage, unions, harassment, etc. I'm not here to read the 1000th take about how much life sucks. These posts are not trying to start a discussion. They are just intended to create an environment of despair. I'm curious about your link of suicidal conversations and right-wing extremism. Not trying to pick a fight at all. Just the first time I've ever seen anyone connect a political ideology with suicide. Blackpilling is based on incels giving up against the feminist agenda. Things like body autonomy and consent, and are encouraged to kill themselves or commit mass violence. Being hopeless against late-stage capitalism and global corporatocracy just means you see what's going on. This should be a place where we support each other in our struggles to survive this system, including our mental health struggles. It's a reflection of the fact that people aren't just struggling. They are in very bleak circumstances physically and mentally. The answer is not to censor them. Don't think someone crying out for a bit of help or compassion should be a ban. There are also lots of trolls coming here craving debate. However, debate is not listed in the sidebar as being the purpose of this subreddit. I favor a supportive response to participants here that are having suicidal thoughts. I don't want to tell them to go away or to suppress that side of themselves here. I don't see a connection to right-wing extremism, nor do I see those conversations leading to more tolerance of right-wing extremism in this forum. If anything does start to turn us on each other, that needs to be called out quickly and addressed firmly. Remember that we are not here just to commiserate or gossip, but to fight for a better world. We can't fight without you in it. Then it's just me and I can't do this by myself. There is power in a band of working folk. This isn't a union and we aren't here to build worker power directly. But this subreddit exists to help you remember that you are not alone. If you feel alone and isolated, then take that as a cue to find commonality. Get community. Can't unionize your workplace? See if there's a tenants union or transit riders union. Not religious? Then work with secular volunteer organizations. Remember also, your despair is a product and an end of the system we wish to fight. Your boss benefits when you don't feel you have any choice but to work for him, and hurting yourself is ultimately not something that can hurt or change that state of affairs. Strongest of disagreements. A battle isn't won because everyone is always chipper. A battle is won because people realize the consequences of not winning. Part of that mental process is walking through the proverbial valley of the shadow of death. You don't really believe something is true until you personally know it's true. And, for all our efforts, we are still at war. For all our wins, the billionaires respond in kind. It will be a never-ending battle of hope and despair until the last yacht, vacation home and golden parachute is forcibly taken from the billionaires. Hard disagree. This is exactly the space for folks to vent about their despair in living within this system that is designed to make us depressed and miserable so we consume more and work more. These sentiments are not readily understood or empathized with in mental health subreddits because they aren't anti-capitalist. And there are several subreddits with a more narrow focus on organizing if you want to read more about that. This place fills a very specific and necessary niche for the very people you want banned. Banning talking about wanting to give up does the opposite of helping people to feel better and not want to unsubscribe from life. You don't encourage suicidal ideation, but you definitely have to talk about it to help people. If people can't talk about it, they feel isolated and are more likely to follow through. You sound like a corporate plant trying to tell us not to complain. Are you a corporate plant telling us not to complain? Blackpilling? Question mark. Been seeing it multiple times a day in adulting. Shit's getting really tough. Your link about using the word wrong goes to Urban Dictionary, which has about 20 different definitions. You can only use the word wrong in this sub-BC. It isn't a word that's used here. You're projecting your slang and interpretations onto other people's posts and then asking the mods to ban your projections. Making rules about having to be positive will never work. When I read the first half of your post describing the trend, I got comfortable and ready to dig in. BC, I thought some wise, helpful words might be coming up. Instead, after reading an eloquent description of the struggle, I was unpleasantly surprised to read that the answer was to ban it from the sub. Many people are frustrated they're stuck working for billionaires, hedge funds, etc., who do not care about them at all. I get the "I want to kill myself if I have to do this another day" kind of chat when it's done in an offhand way, but I agree it shouldn't be used in a serious manner. I am not advocating violence, but I am advocating revolution. We need to rise up. We need to revolt. Labor unions are a good start. General strikes are even better. Take it to the billionaire class in the only way you can really hurt them. Stop their money from flowing in. Stop the markets. Shut down everything. https preview.red.it/umoipubac1.jpg width equals 756 and format equals PJPG and auto equals WebP and S equals 4BD9B6FC4B6DC1C71F646 add 5572F3225527 DO4F1. People are not going to become less depressed if you ban them for being depressed. The posts I read seem to be very leftist. Nevertheless, I hate to see anyone in that much despair. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doomscrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.